Here's a quick news break with yours truly. I'm the one and only. I go by the name of Mr. TALIAFERRO. Please make sure you follow your boy on Instagram at itsmrtaliaferro. The goal is 10,000 followers by May 1st. I need your support on this one. Please follow your boy on Instagram at itsmrtaliaferro. Kanye West, the ever so always in the news, always polarizing, Ye is at it again. So I've always said this about Kanye West. History will say Kanye West was one of, if not the biggest influencers on music production, the sound, everything. History will look back favorably on Kanye West, the musician. Kanye West will be looked upon as one of the biggest trendsetters for a non-athlete in fashion as well. What he's been able to do with his Yeezy line, just creating that hype over a guy who doesn't dribble a ball, throw a football, swing a bat, the hype that he's been able to get around this fashion line, he's taken the fashion industry to the next level. Historically speaking, we will look back at Kanye West, the fashion designer, favorably. But one industry we will never look at Kanye West favorably, and I promise you this, his political viewpoint. You see, as Ye has gotten older, he has obviously, like a lot of people do, become more removed from the culture that created him. And when he does interviews like the one he just did with the Wall Street Journal, it just shows you more how clueless, irresponsible, and I'll say this, and I say this respectfully to Kanye West, but sometimes idiotic and stupid Ye's political stances can be. I'll read this quote from a new interview with Ye in the Wall Street Journal. Then I'll give you a little bit of TALIAFERRO commentary. You can't get this nowhere else when we come back. Ye told the Wall Street Journal on wearing that Make America Great Again hat. Obviously, that is Donald Trump's signature branding. He said, "It reminded me of how I felt as a black guy before I was famous. When I would walk in a restaurant and people would look at you like you were going to steal something." He said, "This is your place, Ye. Don't talk about apparel. This is your place, Ye. You're black, so you're a Democrat." So Ye is saying the reason why he put so much into and takes so much pride in wearing that Make America Great Again hat that we saw a couple years ago, as Ye stood right next to Trump and said, "I love this man. I love this guy. This guy's great for our country. I'm behind him." He co-signed Donald J. Trump, right? So Ye says when he puts on that Make America Great Again hat, it makes him think about when he was young, up and coming, from the streets, from nothing, and how he would go to places and people would try to make him feel out of place. But in his mind, he knew, I'm going to be one of the greatest musicians ever. I'm going to be one of the greatest fashion designers ever. I'm going to be great, whether you believe in me or not. The problem with what Ye is doing is it's a false parallel. He's trying to somehow, some way incorporate him when he was younger being black, and people not necessarily doubting him, but not knowing what he was capable of. He's comparing that to Donald Trump actually not being liked by people of his own skin complexion, black folk, Ye, because of things that he's doing to the country. It's a false parallel, Ye. I know what you're trying to do. I get it. At this point in Kanye's life, an over 40-year-old man, Donald Trump reminds him of himself more than me or you reminds Ye of Ye at this point in time. We don't have millions of dollars like Donald Trump. We don't have years of experience in business like a Donald Trump. We're not the president of the United States like Donald Trump. Ye's been on record of saying he has aspirations of being president of the United States at some point, maybe as early as 2024. And what does he see when he sees Donald Trump? He sees a celebrity. He sees a celebrity. And if that guy from just the business world could be president, Ye feels like with his influence, the amount of fans that he's created all around this country and even globally, he feels like if Trump could do it, he could do it. So just like that youngin' in the hood 30 years ago needed hope, Donald Trump in some weird way gives Kanye West hope. But like I said earlier, the false parallel lies right here. People were not rooting against Kanye West. They just had no idea of what this young dude from Chicago was capable of. The reason why people are rooting against Donald Trump is because it's personally affecting them. the decisions that he makes specifically in our black community as we're trying to create generational wealth when he cuts off healthcare lines, meaning it costs entirely too much money for a lot of us to get decent healthcare. And look at it, we're in the midst of a coronavirus right now. Bare minimum, we all need healthcare, but the rates for healthcare are so crazy right now. A lot of people, specifically of color, don't have it, and we're in the midst of a virus outbreak, a pandemic in our country. When people are looking at how they're treated with their companies, how there's this disregard of workplace etiquette, because Donald Trump, all he knows is to tell people to go to work and make a bag and make a paycheck and figure it out like that, when the freaking minimum wage is still entirely too low. You're affecting people. That's where the dislike and the disdain for Donald Trump is. We didn't hate Ye. People didn't hate on Ye because they didn't want him to win. His wins didn't affect anyone else. If Donald Trump wins, people around this country will be poor. So that's a false parallel with Ye trying to look at Donald Trump as this sign of hope. I'll put it to you like this. It throws me off as a fan of Kanye West musically when I hear his political views, because just to be real with you, in my mind, I think to myself, how can a guy, I don't need Ye to be the best politician out there. That's not what I need from Kanye West. But I do have to wonder, and I do think to myself, how can a guy that sound musically, that intelligent musically, that's so far in front of things, how can he be so great musically? How can he be so great in fashion? I'm not a fashion guy. I don't understand the landscape of fashion like that. But Ye seems to always be on top of it. Even back to the polo shirts back in the day with the backpacks and everything, to today where they got holes. Dudes be wearing dresses nowadays. It ain't for me, to each his own, but Ye has always been on top of where we're going from a fashion standpoint. How can a guy that's so up to date on culture, seemingly so smart, so educated in certain regards, be so ignorant when it comes to politics? He has to be ignorant, because no one in their right mind would have the stances that he has. And back, even if you're pro Donald Trump, be clear, no one's doubling down on their Donald Trump support right now. Ladies and gentlemen, as of 3 weeks ago, Donald Trump dismissed the seriousness of the coronavirus. No one in their right mind would double down on their love and support of Donald Trump right now. It takes a guy that's so clueless to politics, that's so removed from the culture, that's so removed from being an average human being, working a 9-to-5, making ends meet day in, day out. That's how far removed you gotta be to not understand that it's probably not the best time to support Donald Trump. Even if you're rocking out with bruh, he ain't done nothing right in the midst of this coronavirus. Hospitals are running out of medical equipment, and if he don't come through with this $1,200 for these American citizens, I for damn sure certain believe Joe Biden will be winning the presidency in 2020 later this year if it does happen. It's a quick news break from yours truly, Mr. Taliaferro. I miss the old Kanye, the more informed Kanye, the tuned in Kanye, the George Bush doesn't care about black people Kanye. Y'all can keep the MAGA hat wearing, Donald Trump loving, Yeezus Ye album making Kanye West. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids, they tuned in.
We locked in right now,
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV.